In the late 1990s, Rick Burke and his family purchased a Bay of Plenty sheep and beef farm with serious environmental issues. After doing a farm environment plan and a heap of hard work, they have now vastly improved farm biodiversity and reduced freshwater pollution. But what's the impact been on greenhouse gas emissions, and has their bottom line suffered as a result? Let's find out.
Mum and Dad had a batch up the Coromandel Peninsula and we learnt to surf back on an old longboard when I was about 10 or 12. Once you get in the water and you can stand up and you can ride waves, it's quite infectious. And it takes your mind away from the farm and you have a different perspective on life. 97, 98, I was approached by the regional council saying that our farm had some serious issues around sediment loss and it was destroying habitats for the fish and creating a nuisance with abundance of sea lettuce. So I thought, well, we can make a difference. And the regional council regarded the stream health in terms of invertebrates and fish and sediment analysis as about a 2 out of 10. Well, that was our scorecard, so it was seriously bad. The stock, the only water access was to the streams. It was all about fresh water back then in 97, 98. I was a young bloke, pretty fit, and I thought, well, I got a truckload of fencing to do, and we bought a decent tractor and a post rammer and made a start, but it looked seriously daunting to us, and I at one stage thought, have I done the right thing? Because it seemed that hard. We looked at the blank canvas and said, how are we going to understand the capability of the land and how can we optimise it going forward? So we did that assessment around slope, soils. We thought about redesigning the farm and breaking it into land management units. And some of this country on the hills across here were all being farmed, and if you did the cost benefit analysis on that land management unit, you're actually losing money. So we thought, well, we'll take that out, and that was a good place to put some pine trees in. Where we were putting fertiliser and losing money because we were trying to keep weeds out and we had livestock management issues, we were better off taking that out of farming. And then with the help of the regional council, we got a good water reticulation system in place, and we focused on subdivision and our farm systems around good rotational grazing practices. We saw a dramatic improvement. As soon as we focused on our critical source areas and slowing down overland flow of nutrient and sediment and capturing it before it went into the stream, the MCI levels, or invertebrate and fish scorecard, went up significantly. So I mentioned earlier we're about a 2 out of 10 now, we're a 9, 10 out of 10 in places. So it's seriously good. But it's interesting, freshwater, biodiversity and knowing your numbers around greenhouse gases all intrinsically linked because one leads into the other. So as soon as we started seeing the freshwater improve and the biodiversity coming back into the areas which were completely devoid of it in the past, we thought, well, hey, I wonder what our carbon footprint's like. What it does is it means that we've, through those good systems, got better soil health. We're growing high quality feed and lots of it and trying to keep that in the sweet spot. So we're growing higher volumes across less land area. So it's matching the right stock class to land class, and then, farming those animals to their genetic potential. So giving them happy lives and growing them as fast as we can has an impact on our greenhouse gas footprint. Because the more efficient we become, we can reduce our numbers. The sheep and beef farm industry has a seriously good story to tell, because if you think about it, where we were in the 90s, because we've been under the pump a bit to improve profitability, we've improved our genetics, We've improved our farm systems, and many farmers have done what we've done, taken out remnants bush and that and put them into QE2 and that sort of thing. So in relation to our methane, our nitrous oxide, we've actually reduced them over time. And this farm in particular, we've brought them right back. And I'd encourage farmers to get out and know their numbers so that we can say with confidence that we haven't been heating up our farms, we've actually been cooling them down.
Rick, I think, decided I'm too old to train to do anything on the farm. I just said, probably you're right. But there are other things. There are other things you can do. I mean, every month I go through the bank statements, code them up, make sure that we've paid, and I pay all the bills the 20th of the month. The bank, you know, I mean, you're always looking at the bank managers, always wondering what's going on, and even though money's cheap at the moment, they're looking at farmers and going, what's happening? You know, are you showing a profit? Blah blah. So we had our annual visit from the bank manager, and he was very pleased with the way we're trucking. I think I'll be doing it for a few more years yet.
Knowing that when we took over this farm, we were having a detrimental effect on the harbour and its biodiversity really struck a chord with me. So that really motivated me hard to do my land environmental plan and get started on this journey. So, you know, now when I go for a surf, get out, and I think, you know, think back 20 years, I've made a significant improvement to the health of the water going to the harbour, which reflects on what happens outside the harbour as well. So that's been my drivers, that's been my why. And if you know, the farmers can understand their why, it really motivates them to do stuff. You know, I used to spend hours getting cattle with the dogs out of these some of these dirty gullies here, and now I don't have to do that. I've got a lot more time to go surfing and fishing.
Rick and Jan have shown that doing a farm environment plan can have benefits across the range of challenges being faced by farmers. The list of changes they've made is impressive and has had a huge impact on the environment. They've divided the farm into different land management units and farmed those areas more efficiently. This meant fencing off less productive land, waterways and sensitive areas. They've vastly improved water reticulation and installed water troughs throughout the property. They've lowered their stocking rate and used good rotational grazing practices. They're using less fertiliser, grow higher quality feed and finish higher value stock faster. Rick and Jan have also been busy planting trees, improving the farm's biodiversity as well as introducing production forestry where it makes sense. But just what difference has this made to their greenhouse gas emissions? Since the late 90s, net greenhouse gas emissions have dropped by over 50% and profitability has doubled. There's a lot at play here, but reducing the amount of dry matter eaten and improving feed efficiency has helped, as has reducing the use of nitrogen fertiliser. They've also planted a large number of trees, which has helped provide a carbon offset and reduce net emissions across the farm. Rick and Jan have shown that it's possible to meet both environmental and financial goals when you put a farm environment plan in place. And when new challenges like climate change need to be considered, their system is already set up well to respond. You can find out more about measuring, managing and reducing agricultural greenhouse gas emissions online.